can redirect them. You can say, would you like to go in? Often they'll go into seclusion by themselves because they recognize it. But if you're using floating employees, you know, it's like sending you or me in there. I guarantee you, we could walk in, it would take us about 15 minutes to cause a major incident. You just, you know, Dan, you go in and be the mental health worker. It would take just about 15 minutes for a major incident. So it's really important that the right people are there, that they're trained, that they know these clients, they know their triggers, and they know how to deal with them. And that's why I say it requires the best of the best. This is a more challenging environment than Maine Medical Center or Maine General or any of those environments. And I just went through Maine Medical Center, and I'm going to have some knees put in. And I mean, their staffing, you know, they have the best of the best. I mean, they're really impressive, nursing, staffing, and so on and so forth. We've got to have that. It's a more challenging environment.
And Representative Rotundo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Judge Walker, for being here today. I'm just interested in learning a little bit more about the culture change.
Right.
You referred to the fact that in 2012 there were more forensic patients,
Yeah.
and it was overwhelming almost, it sounds like.
Right.
But were there other changes that had been made in terms of the culture? Were there fewer staff members? Was there less training, or was it simply being overwhelmed by the number of forensic patients that brought about this culture change?
I think from my own perspective, it was largely the change, the increased numbers of forensics. The hospital was operating so well that in about 2010, we withdrew active supervision of the hospital. We, the court, did. And I continued to read their reports, but I didn't go over and I didn't interfere in their operations. But each time I wrote the progress report for those next 2 years, I pointed out that there was an increase in the number of forensics, and they were housing them in all 4 units of the hospital, which was a troubling event. And I said, in the first instance, I said, you know, it's sort of, it would be, we need to know whether this is just a temporary blip or whether it's a longer-term problem. And it turned out that it was a longer-term problem. It has eased up a bit since then, thankfully, but it was a longer-term problem. So they were up to, rather than having 45 forensic patients, they were up to having maybe 70 forensic patients with a long list waiting. And with that came some serious behavioral problems within that 70, some really serious challenges, and that led them to the use of correctional officers on the scene. I knew about the use of the correctional officers, and I didn't object to it. I wasn't supervising it at that particular point. I didn't know about the use of tasers, and I didn't know about the use of weapons. It just seemed to me that they were having some burly guys stand in the unit, and that was it. I didn't know until CMS responded to the first taser incident. But that first taser incident and then the final pepper spray incident was about 6 months apart. There were 44 police interventions in between that the department discovered, ferreted out, made known. To their credit, they made a full thing. And so I think it was the increased forensics and the composition of those. There are a lot of people who are very sick these days, more so than in the past.
Thank you.